in wrestling history when he beat a 3-time NCAA champ Spencer Lee on his way to finishing number 2 in 23. So McCrone, despite a high-ranking number 11, he's definitely got his work cut out for him and then some.
Oh, he certainly does. This is a winnable match for McCrone, and certainly Ramos is the favorite here. 19-0 on the season so far. McCrone coming in at 16-4, and deep in on a shot now.
Can't get any control out of it, but he certainly asserts himself early on.
Well, the way that leg is on the side of the body of Ramos is going to be a tough spot for McCrone to score, but Ramos showing exactly why he is ranked number 1 here, putting this in a situation now where he is in an advantageous spot, having to get past the defense of McCrone, and now it looks like if he can turn those hips over, might be in a good spot to at least put McCrone in a danger spot, and there you get the first count, but not yet.
Not enough to accumulate any back points. And still the no control sign. And McCrone now trying to make a counterattack.
Well, if McCrone's going to win this match, he's going to have to win these positions. He is so dangerous on the mat. He has had trouble on his feet. Ramos has the ability to score from cleaner spots, but can also, as you can see already, in these scramble situations, doesn't panic at all.
McCrone trying to come back from a loss to number 16 ranked Dean Peterson in that Indiana match, as they call a stalemate there. And now he's on his feet, so we'll see how it goes here. And as you said, he might be more advantageous to be on the mat.
Well, 125, I mean, there are a lot of contenders at this weight class. Ramos certainly deserves his number 1 ranking right now, but there are a lot of people at this weight who feel like they can stand atop the podium at the end of the year.
He's 19-0. His last victory is his 44th ranked win when he beat number 22, Jacob Moran. Tried to get in for the shot, not able to. It's been a very even first period as we enter the final 50 seconds and counting. After a lot of action, did not result in any points accumulated.
Now, only 1 stoppage so far here in the first period. There, that stalemate when neither could finish off their offensive attempts.
30 seconds remain. 30.
See if anybody tries to sprint here at the end of the period. You burn a lot of energy in those kinds of scrambles. And that's one of the things that, as a wrestler, you have to manage. You can talk about digging deep, and you can talk about find that 110%, but there's only so much energy you have, and when you use a big chunk of it in the first period, it changes how you have to manage the rest of the match. Ticking down here, will there be a score at the end?
There is that surge, that attempt to try to put something on the board, but the period ends. Ramos has not allowed a single takedown or back point all year in accumulating his 19-0 record. So the fact that McCrone came as close as he did would be an unprecedented situation if he were to succeed.
Now, McCrone had choice here and deferred to the third period. Ramos goes neutral, just kind of showing the respect for what McCrone does on the mat. Big Ten opponents and those around NCAA wrestling have found that if you want to beat Brendan McCrone, your best chance to do it is from the neutral position. And that's, McCrone came right out and took a really good shot, got into that scramble situation, maybe trying to turn the tables a little bit. There's a good level change from Ramos and in on an ankle, and now we go back to the scramble situation. Ramos trying to keep the head on the inside of that knee to keep the pressure on it and not allow McCrone really a lot of movement.
They're really grappling down there, spending a lot of energy. Twice, Ramos was the unanimous number 1 wrestler in the nation at 125.
Now Ramos in a good spot here. McCrone trying to hold on around that waist. Is not going to be able to fend off the takedown this time.
That breaks the log jam with the 3 points now accumulated for Ramos.
Well, even in that situation there, we talked earlier about Ramos having the ability to score clean. That wasn't a clean takedown. He did have to scramble through the situation, but he initiated the shot, put himself in a good position. McCrone was playing defense for the most part in that scramble.
Now McCrone's going to have to do something that none of Ramos' opponents have been able to do all season to date in order to come back and win this match. He's certainly acquitted himself very well through the first nearly 2 periods. But now he's going to have to produce some points.
Ramos tough on top. McCrone can score from bottom. So you have to continue to try and do what you do well for Matt Ramos. Score some points here, burn some clock, take some of the starch out of the socks of McCrone from on bottom. But you also make sure that you don't hang your head. You don't put yourself in a position where McCrone can catch something and turn it into a big reversal and back points.
And he's a guy who's very capable of doing that as he struggles to his feet. Tried to roll out, but still contained in the final seconds of this period.
Crowd wants a reversal. They're not going to get it. Ramos still had the arm around the waist.
That would have been a big reversal there had he been able to get it.
Well, and the takedown took place exactly at the minute mark. So with Ramos finishing out on top, he has riding time right now, but now he's going to be on bottom, so McCrone's going to be able to break that riding time right away. Choosing top. Boy, almost got an early start there, and I think, yeah, the referee did recognize it. McCrone tried to shoot across and throw a leg in on the far side, but this is his game.
So what's McCrone's strategy now entering this third period?
You're going to try and find a cradle.
Probably does not want to let Ramos back on his feet because it's so difficult to take him down.
No, he wants this match to finish on the mat right in this position after having gotten, well, if he can get a 4-point turn, that would put him ahead. A 3-point turn with a ride out would put him ahead as well because he would hit exactly 1 minute of riding time.
Either scenario would result in this place exploding. Right now he's hanging on for dear life.
This is one of the differences between college wrestling and high school wrestling. In high school, this is a caution for potentially dangerous. And now it's going to be a stall. McCrone can't do anything here. Ramos has the arm hooked, and that's good strategy. In a situation like this, you're buying yourself a stalling call, and, oh, by the way, you're burning clock. Ramos doesn't have to escape here, doesn't have to get off the bottom. He just has to not get turned.
And right now he has a solid foundation under him, making it very difficult to affect that turn. But McCrone continues to work at it.
We've got double boots in here. And again, for McCrone, even if you get a quick 2 count, if you got 2 near fall and finish out this period, depending on tenths of a second, and I don't have access to see that tenths of a second here necessarily and how it matches up with the riding time. If you ride out the period, he should get a 1-point riding time. If he gets a 2-point turn, that would tie the match. And now, so there are 40.6 seconds remaining on the clock, and the riding time is at 20 seconds. So according to that, if McCrone finishes the period on top, he will get a riding time point, but regardless, he's going to have to get a turn here. Now looks like we got blood time for Ramos.
And then this opportunity for both wrestlers to try to gather themselves as they attend to Ramos with 40.6 seconds remaining.
Actually might be, can't tell if it's blood from McCrone or not. They're doing cleanup on Ramos right now. But in any case, you know, we've had 2 periods, a lot of which was done on the feet in scramble situations. And you know, Ramos, the #1 ranked wrestler in the country, came out on top, initiating his own shot, finishing it off for a takedown. Looked like another quick start there for McCrone, but he's starting to run out of time here, 35 seconds remaining.
It's go time for McCrone now.
There he's looking for that far side cradle. And there are very few wrestlers. There have been some over the years where you knew what was coming. You knew what the guy wanted and you just couldn't stop it. Now it's going to be a stall call on Ramos. Ramos knows exactly what McCrone wants to do here. It's just McCrone's job to try and fight through the defense and get it done.
When you're this late, the stall maybe is to your advantage.
Oh, yeah, you'll give the stall. Heck, you'd give 2 in that situation.
And time expires. So Ramos showing that he is very hard to score against, as well as being very adept at carrying the attack to his opponent. And he wins a 3-0 decision. But nevertheless, McCrone gave him everything he wanted.
Yeah, for Ramos, that was a very well-managed.
Sasso, who we just recently saw against Oregon State get his 100th career victory. He's going up against a real blue chipper in Joey Blaze, ranked number 7 at 157. And this will be a real task, but if there's anybody who has the experience and the know-how to pull it off, it's Sammy Sosa. Or Sammy Sasso, pardon me.
Sammy Sosa might bring a bat out to the mat and see how it goes there. But yeah, this is the marquee match of the duel right here. You are talking about a veteran who has been through everything you can be through on the mat, and more than most people have to face off the mat. He's got the experience edge, but is he the Sammy Sasso of old? He's up a weight class here from where he's been previously. Blaze going to get the takedown here to go up 3-0. But Sasso is actually down a weight class from where he was early in the season, where he was wrestling 165. He's at 157 now. Big Ten champion, All-American. He's got the experience. But Joey Blaze, you were talking about this sophomore from Perrysburg, Ohio, 3-time state champ. Top-tier recruit. And he is trying to be a culture changer at Purdue. And he has been very, very good this year. He's had some injury issues this season as well. Was out of the lineup for a little while, but back in now.
And he's got a brother, Marcus, who's just as good as he is.
Well, a lot would say better. He is the #1 recruit in the nation right now, committed to Penn State after a lengthy recruitment process that included both of these teams. Now Sasso looking to try for a reversal here on the edge. Blaze down on the leg. Referee stopped the count as he came above. No. Stalling is the call there against Blaze.
You talk about one of the things you were mentioning before, in Purdue, they're not hesitant to go into neighboring states and try to get top wrestlers, and they're having some success.
Certainly not. And there was the hope from Tony Ursuline that maybe blood would be thicker than water and they could get Marcus
That's right.
to come to Purdue to wrestle with his brother. That did not wind up being the case. And Ohio State recruited him hard as well, but as so many have over the past, going back more than a decade now, Penn State, the allure of that program is just a magnet for the top talent in the nation.
And that might, a Blaze versus Blaze matchup at some point might be quite
probably
interesting.
Not. Probably not. I don't think Marcus is going to get that big.
That's right. I'm sure they had a lot of those types of matches in the basement growing up.
That you can almost guarantee. Brothers don't care about weight class.
30 seconds left in the first period. Score still 3-0. Sasso having to utilize every ounce of his hard-won experience to figure out a way to get this done here against a great young opponent.
Credit to Blaze for an excellent ride here after finishing off that takedown in the first period. Sasso just could not find a way to get the hips loose and get himself out of there.
Sasso, a two-time Big Ten champion, 21 and 23. He had just won it before that terrible situation that occurred that imperiled his future as a wrestler and even just his future in general. But he's right back out in a very inspiring story, and he, as we said, got his 100th career win, and there's a point on an escape. Gets them back on their feet now. It's 4-0 for Blaze.
Sasso was ranked at 165 pounds. Once he dropped down to 157, wrestled a couple of matches there. The ranking changed. He is ranked number 17 with Blaze at number 7. We'll see Patty Gallagher up at 165 pounds, where the two basically switched weight classes. And there's going to be some wrestle-offs had at these middleweights for the Buckeyes moving forward. But right now, Joey Blaze up 4-0. Sasso trying to use that experience. This is a spot he's been very good at in his career. If he can lock up this cradle. Blaze fighting the hands as best he can and is able to break that lock, and now a scramble on the edge.
Official was watching very intently to see if he would be able to gain control and gain those points, and we're into the final minute of this second period. Right on the edge. of the mat.
Blaze has that left leg still back fighting away. Sasso locked around the waist. The crowd wants the call. Not getting it yet, and now Sasso able to get him onto his hip. Got to keep a foot in the cylinder here. You've got a little bit of room to work, but not much now. Boy, excellent defense from Blaze.
Yeah, indeed. He was right there on the verge of giving up critical points, and he was able to get out of bounds and get back to the center of the mat with the score unchanged.
Boy, when Sasso had the cradle locked and there on the edge, since the opening of the Covelli Center at Ohio State, Sasso has been, now they want a stall call, Sasso has been the face of the Buckeyes in the Covelli Center era. Now, Jesse Mendez may well take over that mantle before his career is done, but the Ohio State wrestling fans love Sammy Sasso as much as anybody that's put on a scarlet or gray or black or white singlet, whichever they choose to wear in this building.
He certainly gained even more supporters after his courageous comeback even than he had before when he was a two-time Big Ten champion. And now we go into the third period, 4-0. What can he pull out of his bag to try to get back into this and maybe take it?
Well, his bread and butter has always been that kind of scramble situation. There's a stall call. That's a point, and now a takedown ties the match.
This place would just go crazy if he could do that.
Now into the scramble. Blaze shot there, heading back toward the center of the mat. And if you're Sasso, you want to get a takedown here, but you don't want to get it too early. Blaze escaped very easily to begin the second period. You want to get a takedown with enough, or with little enough time on the clock to be able to ride that out if you're not going to be able to find a turn.
Finally, they're out again after a lengthy period in which no control could be established.
And see, Blaze likes his shot, and for good reason. And Sasso has been one of the better counter wrestlers in NCAA wrestling over the past several years.
It's very important in terms of the team score for Purdue. As a single, Blaze is able to get in.
That's a situation where almost as if Sasso said, here, take my leg and let's get into a scramble situation. Blaze trying to get that head up. Sasso trying to crowd him.
Almost thrust him on his back, but Blaze is able to recover.
Good spot here.
35 seconds and counting.
30 seconds remaining. 30 seconds.
Sasso's going to try and roll through, get his head up here, and sneak the legs out.
He's got an opportunity here, but again,
that
Blaze
head
just
across.
rolls out of it. He's going to try
Danger
once more.
situation here.
15 seconds to go.
Blaze
Still
has
no
that ankle
control.
hooked.
Oh, it was close. Crowd just howling for Sasso to do something in these final seconds. They thought for a moment he had it.
He almost had that leg put in.
And the time expires, and the crowd, again, they were begging for some points to be awarded. They could taste it.
Well, and for Blaze.
But Blaze escapes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a situation you just got to manage. And
Blaze got up, none too easily.
Well, Blaze had the riding time point there as well. That was the challenge for Sasso. You had to get the takedown early enough to try and break the riding time.
Blaze engaged in
found that opening. And
shows you how quick things can happen.
The moment of a takedown is often the most vulnerable moment for the wrestler on top. Securing the takedown, making sure the action settles, or progressing into a near fall situation. That's one way it can go. The other way is in the action of falling to the mat, maybe you get a little bit of hip separation. Gallagher felt that and was able to exploit it.
So now we move to the 174-pound weight class, and another ranked wrestler for Purdue in Brody Baumann, ranked 25th, but he also lost to Derek Gilcher 2-1. So it wasn't only that they lost in the upper weight class against Indiana, they had some really strong ranked wrestlers that did the same, but Carson Kharchla, his opponent here, at rank number 6. He was 7th in the NCAA's All-American 22. He's going to be a very difficult opponent for Baumann.
Well, certainly Baumann, the redshirt sophomore, looking to bounce back, and Kharchla 6-0 on the season so far. He's had several injury issues throughout his wrestling career. He's still wearing that knee brace on the right leg.
Baumann very similar to Stoney Buell we just saw. He was 12-16 last year. It was the same record Buell had in his first year, but he did finish 8th in the Big Ten and qualified for the NCAA.
Both these guys, 2-time state champs in high school. Baumann from Evansville, Indiana, and Kharchla here from Central Ohio.
So these two Evansville guys here in attendance today. And the takedown there to make it 3-0. And the escape there will allow Kharchla to try to go back to work and maybe effect another takedown.
Brody Baumann from Evansville, Indiana, currently ranked number 25 in the country this week at 174 pounds.
Baumann tried to attack but was blocked out.
Shot from distance there, actually kind of tried to change his direction halfway through to fool Kharchla. He went first to his left and then to the right on the way in. But pretty much straight on without much of a setup. There again, just kind of a hand snap and then a level change and shot. And you're not going to beat head and hands defense from somebody like Kharchla with a shot like that.
Baumann was also a Greco-Roman champ. He led his team to a first state title in 14 years in Indiana. Now he's on the back of Kharchla. But Kharchla is powering his way up. Look at that.
That's just feeling the position. Going from one leg to another, an overhook of one to a back hook of another. Kept himself calm, kept his head high, kept the pressure back into his opponent, and now is rewarded with 3 points.
Finally was able to gain control and make it 6-1.
Well, and that's a guy, Kharchla, a grad student here, has been around a long time, comes from a family with a lot of wrestling experience. That's just hours and hours and hours of mat time, understanding that you don't have to panic in a situation where your opponent starts to shift or move a little bit. You can even do something a little bit unorthodox, as he did, reaching kind of back to overhook the other leg, and just keep the situation 60-40 in your favor till you can find an opening to exploit. Looks like, I don't know if we got a cramp here, or Baumann maybe. Let's stretch out that calf a little bit.
Blood to be the case. Kharchla has come out very, very strong and established control here at the beginning of this match. And especially there where he had Baumann on top of him, and then in a matter of seconds he had reversed the situation and gained 3 points to make it 6-1.
Now Kharchla's put his own shots to work here, and he can be dynamic. Some of the injuries have limited his mobility over the years, but he can be very dynamic on his feet.
He had a tough go against Rutgers. He beat number 23 ranked Jackson Turley, but only by a 3-2 score. He's come out very strong here in this one tonight against a wrestler who's ranked right about in that same ballpark as to what his opponent in that last match was.
Well, you're talking about Big Ten wrestling, and you can't take your foot off the gas, and you can't look past anybody.
Once again, manages to work him to the mat. And the period ends, however, with Kharchla in front by that 6-1 count.
He's got choice. He'll take bottom here in the second period. Well, Baumann's going to have to do something to get himself back into this match. It's not easy to do against Kharchla, who's he holds position well, tough to score on. But for Baumann, he's got from the top position here. See the body types. Baumann far lankier than Kharchla, but not able to keep over the hips.
Escape there, and he didn't kick him out. He was trying to keep him contained, but Kharchla just rolling out. And he has shown the ability to really make something out of what would appear to be difficult positions and then work it to his advantage. And again, he goes in for the shot. The stalling warning was given to Baumann.
Baumann right here trying to use his front headlock situation, but Kharchla get a little overthrow there, but Kharchla tried to peek out there near the edge to keep that forward pressure going, and that pressure is what got him the stall call as well. Baumann kept backing up toward the edge of the mat.
Unfortunately for Baumann, they were already out of bounds there, as he did press forward a little too much and ended up on the mat, but he could not do anything to press that advantage.
Well, and outside of a couple of matches here, Purdue has not really done a great job of moving forward. They've been hit for stall warnings far more often than have the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Final minute of the second period. Baumann trying to neutralize Kharchla, and they call a stalemate. So he did just that. And they go back at it from neutral position. Baumann unable to get inside on the shot attempt.
Yeah, he's not been able to get past the hands of Kharchla. There he had.
Kharchla comes right back, gets him at the single leg attack, and he's got a takedown in the final seconds of the period.
That was kind of a half shot there from Baumann. Didn't commit to it, and then on the way up, he didn't protect himself, and Kharchla took great advantage of it.
That gives Kharchla a 10-1 lead after 2 periods, and he's looked very impressive in building that lead.
Kharchla with 1:21 of riding time here. He's not known as a big turner. See if he tries to commit to this ride. Nope, he wants to go neutral. He's showing optional start. So unless he can catch a crash cradle here, they'll go back to their feet, and Kharchla will try and increase his lead that way.
He was the National Prep Wrestler of the Year, Kharchla was, prior to arriving at the Ohio State campus. And he, once again, very quick, he gets that single leg attack going, and he turns it into a takedown.
Now, he was rewarded there for what was not necessarily a great shot. He was very extended, and Baumann was not able to take advantage of that, and Kharchla did a good job, kept his feet moving, kept trying to close that distance, and wound up with the takedown.
Now he's got plenty of time to try to continue to perhaps get Baumann on his back. And he does.
You go with Sasso there.
And he's got the back points and the pin. You could almost sense that coming with 1 minute remaining in the third period. As soon as he got that takedown, you sense with that much time in the period to get him on his back that he would be able to perhaps accomplish that.